Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Damn. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the John Peckman Podcast. We are live here in the Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance podcast studio. Come over the bridge and look left. Tonight, we have our special guest, and John is a little bit under the weather, so you got me tonight. So with us, we have one of the members of our faculty, our bass teacher extraordinaire, Mr. Neal Hatcher. How you doing, Neal?
I'm all right, man.
All right, man. Thanks for coming over, man.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
All right. Fantastic.
This is something interesting. I never thought my music career would take me to this.
Well, when you're on Peckman's podcast, man, it's that's becoming the deal now.
Apparently,
so
I must be somebody.
You are absolutely. So I know you've been here quite a few years and going on the bass faculty and running, and here we go. And but tell us what's happening. How did you get into the musical business here?
It's a weird story.
Do tell, man.
I was a little boy. My uncle was getting married.
Yeah.
And I was a little boy. I was a ring bearer at his wedding.
Yep.
And back then they didn't have DJs; they had live bands.
Yeah, well, that was the thing back then.
Well, he married this woman whose brother happened to be in like one of Hartford's hottest soul bands. I mean, it was Tony Bowens and the Soul Choppers. I don't know if you remember them.
Okay, I remember the name. I never saw them, but
they came in, okay, and they, with the platform shoes, and because this is in the 70s.
Yeah.
But they had a bass player, a girl. Her
Really?
name was Diane Bowens, and she came in, and she just had this presence. And it just sucked the air out of the room, and I was just standing in the middle of the floor staring at her, watching her play bass, and I'm like, that's what I want to do.
No kidding.
Now, it's weird because I hadn't seen her since I was 7.
Uh-huh.
I finally got to meet her last summer.
Really?
Yeah. And I told her the story, and she goes, "You were that little boy?" I said, "That was me."
No kidding.
And I said, "Because of you, I became a bass player."
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Now, does she still live around here?
Oh, yeah, she lives in Hartford.
Okay.
And she still plays. She plays gospel with the church and stuff.
Oh, no kidding.
But,
Wow.
yeah, it was, I had always wanted to meet her. And everybody knew her, but nobody would introduce me to her.
Okay, and now how did that meet?
My
come
cousin,
about?
he lives in Hartford. He knew her because he had auditioned for the band.
Uh-huh.
But, he didn't make the cut. But he knew her.
Uh-huh.
And I, because my family, they kind of disappear in corners for long periods of time. So when I finally hooked up with him, I said, "Do you know Diane Bowen?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, I know her." I said, "You introduced me to her." It took him 2 years, but he finally introduced her to me.
Wow.
And, we become very fast friends.
Wow.
It's inspiring to have somebody that inspired me to do what I do.
I mean, she's got to be up there in years now.
Yeah, she's getting up there.
Oh my gosh.
But she calls me every now and then, and we're
Really?
gonna plan to get together sometime in the near future.
Great.
But yeah, that's how I became a bass player.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, what was your first band?
Oh, there was a guy named Angelo Bombassi.
I do, Nana.
You know Angelo?
Yes, I remember Angelo.
Okay, Angelo and me, we were in grade school together.
Okay.
He had a guitar, I had a guitar.
Uh-huh.
But he knew how to play chords, and I didn't know how to play chords. He said, "Well, why don't you play bass?" I said, "That's a good idea."
Okay.
What's a bass?
Nice.
So my father bought me a bass. He bought me a Kalamazoo. It was red and white,
Okay.
Nothing expensive.
Okay.
And I took to it like a fish to water. I just practice.
Really?
And so finally he said, "Look, if you're going to really do this, you need a real instrument." So I said, "Okay." So he said, we went down to Saybrook Music in Middletown. Dave Bulgini was the owner. Okay. I picked out this blonde Fender Precision because Rick Mazzata had a blonde Fender Precision.
Okay.
I had to have one. So
Okay.
anyway, so back then the only way for a kid to make money, was to deliver newspapers and cutting lawns and stuff.
Yeah.
I did that for maybe a solid year, delivering Hartford Current and Middletown Press,
Okay.
and saving my pennies. I finally had the last payment.
Yeah.
You know, went to school. They made me take gym that day. I did not want to take gym because I didn't have a lock for my locker.
Okay.
I went to take gym. Money got stolen.
Oh.
I was in tears.
Oh my God.
You know, I went down. I told Dave, look, can you give me another couple of weeks to pay off? He said, no problem. He called my father and told him what happened.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my room crying, you know, because I've been working my butt off for like, you know, a year and a half, you know,
Wow.
snow, rain, sleet,
Yeah.
heat. My father said, get in the car. Oh, God, here we go. He took me down. He made the last payment.
Nice.
So
Nice. And how old were you then?
I was 14,
Wow.
13.
Wow.
So that black P bass that you see me carrying around,
Yeah.
that's the bass.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the bass.
Wow. It's got a lot of history behind it.
That bass has been everywhere with me.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I mean, everywhere with me.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, that's I've had that bass since I was 13.
Now, what I know you're the funkiest bass player that I know.
Oh,
I think.
thank you.
You know, it's like what's your taste in music? Is it more funk, classic?
You're gonna find this very hard to believe, but I listen to everything.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I have Chet Atkins records.
Really?
Yeah, I have Nina Simone records.
Uh-huh.
I have records by Tchaikovsky.
Okay.
You know, Ray Charles. I listen to everything.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. I have a weird ear. I like things that catch my ear,
Okay.
and so I listen to everything. But I always, you know, and I got in trouble for this in high school. I always play off rhythm because that's where I feel the beat.
Well, that's with a pocket. Yeah.
You know.
You got deep pockets, man.
Thank you. But yeah, I always played off rhythm, and everybody was like, "You're such great," and I'm like, "But it doesn't. I'm not doing what everybody else is doing because I guess you were supposed to do what everybody else did. You know, there were certain songs or bass players you had to listen to when I was coming up, and if you didn't know how to play those lines, you weren't like worthy of being in a band.
There you go.
And I never really learned them because I always wanted to go off in my own direction.
Yeah.
You know,
Make it your own.
so yeah, and playing with guys, you know, good drummers.
Uh-huh.
You know, older drummers. I played with a lot of older drummers.
Uh-huh.
You know, and they were saying, "No, don't do it this way. Do it this way. No, don't do it that way. Do it this way." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, all right." You know, so after a while, I kind of developed my own style.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it.
Well, you know, that's the thing. You evolve, and again, you kind of take on your own personality and make it your own. You know, that's the bottom line, and that's what makes it. That's what makes you unique, Neal. I think the standpoint, and you know, you can gel with anybody. You know, and I've witnessed that firsthand. You know, in the many playing situations that I've seen you in and so forth. And unfortunately, I haven't had the chance of actually playing with you, but I know.
I've always wanted to play with you.
You know, well, that's gonna come.
Okay.
That's gonna
promise?
come. Yeah, I promise.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay, man. All right. You know, but you know, being able to do that and be able to, the obviously when you get in any type of band situation, okay, the drummer and the bass player, they're the ones that have to click, because if you don't have the chemistry and the synergy there, you know, the band ain't happening.
Yeah. Well, I learned that in church. I really connected with. That was my first introduction to music, was church.
Yeah.
You know, and I would listen to the organ, because back then they just had an organ player that played bass pedals.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I would listen to him, and then every now and then, you know, they would have somebody to play the tambourine. I was amazed at how they play. I can't do it, but I was amazed at how they can make the tambourine do what they do with it.
Sure.
You know, and,
Sure.
and then, you know, listening to drummers, you know, because my uncle, I'm the firstborn male in the family.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the firstborn. So my uncle would take me downstairs at like 2 or 3 years old, sit me on a stool in front of a record player, and he goes, "Okay, now this is Miles Davis. You need to learn. You need to listen to this. Okay, now this is Nina Simone. This is Ray Charles.
There you go.
You know, and that was my first introduction into music. So when I went to kindergarten,
Yeah.
and they started playing like The Farmer and the Dell and all that other other stuff, that kid music. I'm like, where's the sax solo?
Nice. You're way ahead of your time.
There's
Neal.
no piano in this. What is this stuff?
Yeah.
Who listens to this?
I hear you. Now, are you a product of the Middletown school system?
I am.
Okay. Graduated from Middletown High?
I was the first graduating class out of the new school.
Okay.
Okay. So I was in the old school.
Okay.
Because I went to
The new school. Is that the one on Mile Lane?
no the old new school. The one
the
that fell in the swamp.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because we were we went to the old school downtown.
Yeah.
And then because we went to Central.
Uh-huh.
And because there was Central and Woodrow Wilson and Middletown High and Woodrow Wilson High.
Yeah.
And we went to Middletown High until the new school was finished, and then we moved into the new school and I graduated out of there.
Okay.
Actually, I never really graduated. They just said, don't come back.
Now, were you involved in music at the school?
I was.
Uh-huh.
I was in the band. I was in the stage band. I was in the chorus.
Okay.
And
Playing bass?
believe it or not, I started in the band as a freshman as a drummer.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved to tuba.
There you go.
Started playing tuba and string bass,
Okay.
and played string bass and electric bass in the stage band. It was a lot of fun.
Now, did you find string bass hard to pick up at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't.
No frets.
Well, I couldn't. My intonation wasn't right. When I learned what intonation was,
Right.
I couldn't get the right intonation. Well, it was a school instrument, so it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
So,
Plywood.
yeah, strings were like you could shoot arrows off the neck. So
Nice.
so when I got my electric bass, I started using that.
Uh-huh.
And learned to read a little bit.
Okay.
But there was a time. Well, being newly retired, I can tell you this.
Yeah.
I worked in a garage all these years, and
Yeah.
I used to be able to read, and I got a piece of metal in my eye.
Yeah.
So when they removed the piece of metal out of my eye, I can't focus anymore.
Okay.
So I have to read chord charts because I can't read individual notes.
Okay. Yeah.
It looks like if it's a C, I can't tell if it's a C sharp or C flat.
Okay,
I can't
yeah.
see,
Yeah.
the notation on the notes. So I use chord charts now.
Wow. Okay.
But,
Nice.
It's just a product of getting old, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. Getting old is ain't for the faint of heart. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Go from there. So, what was your first gigging situation?
My first gig was at St. Pius Church
Yeah, Newfield Street.
on Newfield Street.
Yeah.
Me, Angelo Bombassi, and Dean, I forgot the kid's name. Dean something or other. We were all excited. We had a 3-hour gig. We only knew 4 tunes.
Okay.
We didn't know nothing about PA.
Okay.
We didn't know nothing about,
What did Dean play?
Dean was a drummer.
He was a drummer. Okay.
It was just 3 of us.
Okay.
Angelo, he stood behind the curtain all night and played. He didn't want to stand it. He was nervous to stand in front of a crowd. So,
Yeah.
and I remember we all made $20 for that.
Hey.
Oh man, we were so happy.
That was big money back then.
Hey, So my father took us all out for pizza. We celebrated. He made us pay for it.
Well, hey, you made the money, man. That's for sure.
So
now, what do you remember the set list?
Summertime Blues. It was a song by Grand Funk,
Okay.
and then there was Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog.
There you
I
go.
played that for 2 hours.
Nice.
Oh, and Soul Sacrifice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jeremiah. Years I played in wedding bands and GB band, for years, my own group and so forth, and I don't know how many 1,000 times I played.
Oh, there's some songs that just should be banned.
Yeah, well, between Celebration, Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog, which is not the title of the tune. The title of the tune is Joy to the World.
Right.
Okay, but everybody says, hey, do you know Jeremiah was a bullfrog?
Well, if they said Joy to the World, they would think you're talking about Handel's Messiah.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, so forth. But yeah, so forth. Yeah, you get to that point where, oh yeah, and those were back in the day, doing the weddings. There were back when we started playing, there were no DJs. It was a live band, and in the wedding scene, that transition, everybody, rented a hall, got a caterer, you had a wedding, okay, and you had a band, you had a photographer, and you did it. Then as things evolved, okay, well, renting a hall wasn't cool. You had to go to the hotels, and so forth. But now it's coming back,
It's a good thing because I told my friends, man, we grew up at the absolute perfect time to grow up.
I agree with you.
Middletown was a great place to grow up.
Yep.
The music scene was happening. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody was, everything was an evolution.
Sure.
I mean, jazz was changing.
Yep.
And R&B and.
Yep.
You could listen to the radio and hear country and then hear
Yep.
R&B and hear all kinds of stuff, man. And it was just a great time to learn how to play music.
Well, and not to mention, it was just a great time to grow up. I tell you, look at what's going on in the world today. I wouldn't want to grow up in this world today.
No.
It is not.
It's a mess.
It is. It's a train wreck. And unfortunately, it is what it is. But everybody says, God, you grew up in the best of times, and believe it. I believe it.
I do too.
Sure. You enjoyed yourself. You
had the best music, the coolest cars.
There you go. The
gas was 38 cents a gallon.
You could buy cheeseburgers at McDonald's for 25 cents.
Yeah, I bought a coffee this morning at Dunkin' Donuts for $3.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, go. Go to Starbucks. They're $6.
It's a cup of coffee. $3 for a cup of coffee.
Yep. Exactly. That's what they call inflation.
I filled my tank up with like $65. I'm like, my rent isn't this high.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. You get to a point where gas is up there now. It's come down a little bit, but it's still up there.
Oh yeah.
As far as that goes.
It's ridiculous.
So your gigging dichotomy. How did you what bands did you evolve into?
Well, Dave Bulgini, the guy I bought the bass from, had a band called Ken Bakari.
Okay.
And they played down at the Gold Pin Room in Saybrook every weekend.
The Gold Pin Room?
The Gold Pin Room. It was the bowling alley.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was connected and had a bar there.
Okay.
I don't know how I got with them, but for some strange reason, I wound up being their bass player when I was in high school.
Okay.
So, and at the particular time, I was working at CBT.
Okay.
And I would go over there and talk to Dave, and he's like, "How you doing with the bass?" I was like, "All right." He goes, one night, he goes, "Get in the car." I'm like, "All right." He takes me down. Next thing you know, I'm playing this gig with him. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I
don't know nothing about chord progressions or songs or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And he just kept taking me and kept taking me and kept taking me. So, that's...
Baptism by fire, man.
For 3 Italians and me.
Nice. Oh, my God.
Black teenage kid down there playing Volare and, House is Not a Home. And,
oh, really? Okay.
yeah.
So it was a kind of a GB band.
Yeah, it was a GB band, you know.
Wow.
And, Jeremiah was a bullfrog,
yeah.
all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here you go. There you go.
So, I got sick one night. I think it was a New Year's Eve gig.
Yep.
I got sick. I mean, I was sick.
Yeah.
And I called Dave up. I'm like, "I can't make the gig." He goes, "Oh, no, you don't." He came to the house and got me.
Oh, boy.
Made me play the gig.
Yeah.
Okay. He said, "If you're going to be a musician, you got to learn one thing. Show must go on."
And there you go. And show up.
So, yeah. So I learned a lot from him.
Well, you kind of develop that work ethic, as far as that goes. And, that's, to a certain extent, that's a lot of what's missing today. I mean, people don't have work ethic that you and I had, growing up, as far as that goes.
Well, no, as I got older and we started, when I was with Skyway originally, we were on the road all the time, and you couldn't get sick.
No.
Because if you got sick, nobody get paid.
Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't work.
Yeah.
So we kind of took care of ourselves
Yep.
and took care of each other to make sure that we could keep working.
Yep.
You know, now guys like, oh well, you know, I don't feel like playing. I'll just call in. It's like, no, man, if you got a gig, you show up and play it.
Yeah, exactly. So Skyway, that's your show band that you're in.
Yeah, well, I've been with him off and on since the early '70s.
Wow.
You know, we met from actually me working in the bank.
Really?
Yeah. There was a girl in there named Simone, and I'm not sure how she was related to Tom, but they were looking for a bass player.
Yeah.
And I wound up playing with them for a while, and then I left because I joined another band called Straight Up. It was a horn band. I liked horn bands back then. All the bands I played back then had horns in them.
Sure.
And it was weird for me to play with a band that didn't have horns.
Well, you know.
You know, but so anyway, yeah, we hooked up in '77, I want to say.
Yep.
And then I did a stint with them until '78, and then they came back and got me in '80.
Uh-huh.
And I was with them from '80 until '83.
Uh-huh.
And then when my father died, you know, I took it real hard. I just had to get out of here.
Yeah.
So I hooked up with the Landerman agency.
Okay, yeah, in Hartford, yeah.
And they hooked me up with these guys from Santiago, Chile.
Okay.
So I did a tour with them of the country. Went out to Vegas and Reno and Santiago, Chile. And we were actually in Chile when there was a coup.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I toured with them until they got back to Atlantic City.
Okay.
And then once they got back to Atlantic City, I was like, I can't do this anymore. You know?
The road ain't what is cranked up to be.
I mean, they were playing casinos. Excuse me. They were playing casinos and, dinner theaters and,
What type of music?
They had a bunch of different shows. They had like a Spanish show.
Yeah.
Then they had an R&B show. Now these two guys are from Santiago, Chile. Okay, so everything's gonna be in broken Spanish.
Okay.
They had a show. They had show tunes. Like what was the tune? A one, singular sensation.
Yeah.
That was the only chart I had to read.
Okay.
But the thing about it was, I got hired in the Poconos. I had to go to the Poconos to audition for them.
Ah, there you go.
So I went to the Poconos and auditioned for them. I made the audition. They gave me a week. I went back to New York, hung out in New York with my cousin, my grandmother. Went back to the Poconos. And they finished up the show that night. I hadn't played one of them yet.
Okay.
Got in the cars, drove back to New York, to Kennedy, and flew to St. Thomas. So I had to learn the show on the plane.
Nice.
So the charts they had, because they'd been through like 4 different bass players.
Yeah.
So by the time I got the charts, they were all
dog-eared
and corrected, and this is crossed out and penciled in and stenciled in. And
man.
So I don't know what's right. So I had to sit and rewrite all my own charts on the plane.
Wow.
But it was interesting.
Now, when they played the Catskills, you remember what resort they played up there?
I want to say Caesars. It was so long ago. No, this is the Poconos.
Yeah,
that's not the Catskills.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Poconos are in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, that's
Catskills
right. Okay, I did the Catskills.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did the Pines, Grossingers, and the what they call the Borscht circuit.
Oh yeah. You did that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then I did. Then I did Banner Lodge down in Moodus and Frank Davis.
I used to play golf down there
for years. We did 6 nights a week at Frank Davis.
Those were the good days, man.
And so we used to have the back shows. And they used to have, Banner Lodge had shows from New York, and we had 6 nights a week. The only night we had off was Monday night, and they would bring. Usually on Friday and Saturday, they would have a singer or a comedian and a singer, and then Thursday night was what they call a champagne hour. They had a dance instructor down there, and he would give dance instructions, and then we'd have a dance contest, and they would give out a bottle of champagne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then Wednesday, but it was the type of thing that 6 nights a week. But the shows from New York that came up. they had a lot of the people that played the Goodspeed, stayed at Banner Lodge.
Okay.
And it was pretty cool. We had some pretty heavy people coming in and stay. We did, Buddy Ebsen was up there, Stockard Channing. We did the Ink Spots. We did, all these people that stayed there. We got to meet them. It was pretty cool. So
Yeah, we got to, I actually filled in when I was in Atlantic City. I filled in for Sam Butera, bass player,
Oh, okay.
and the Treniers.
Okay.
I filled in for them. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They remind me of the Coasters.
Yeah.
know.
The Coasters.
But I didn't know any of these people. I didn't know that they. And then I went back and looked at it. Like, wow, Sam Butera was a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, well. And we had years ago. We had the Coasters play at the Portland Fair.
Really?
Yeah, they came down. We had dinner at my house. The guys there were pretty cool. In fact, we owned the store. And then Ron and I owned the store. We took pictures out on the front step with the Coasters.
Yeah, man. It's strange how people that are famous are just really nice, down to earth people. You know?
Yeah. Most of them are. So, some can be, jerks, but for the most part,
Rodney Dangerfield was a jerk. I met him in Atlantic City. He was a jerk.
No respect.
Dom DeLuise was one of the nicest guys I'd ever talked to.
Yep.
I liked him. Stevie Wonder was real nice.
Yep. That's cool. So did you do any wedding gigs around here at all? Or?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. I mean, I had a band called Ice, Interstate Exchange, and we had this cool logo that said, "You can't have a party without ice." And
that works.
Yeah, well, we were way ahead of our time. And it was just a bunch of guys that kind of got together and started playing, and the next thing you know, we had all this work. Everybody wanted a band, And,
there you go.
we never asked how much we were making. We didn't care.
Yeah.
It's just like, you need a band? What do you want us and what time?
Yeah, we'll be there.
And it was 10 of us.
Really?
Yeah, it was a big band.
Horn band too?
Yeah, 3 horns.
Wow.
Guitar, bass, drums, keys, and the keyboard player was Charles Graham. Okay. Charles Graham was the front. And actually, we just lost one of us. One of our horn players passed away.
Wow.
Which is kind of ironic because we all made it this long.
Yeah. Well, we are getting older, Neal.
Yes, we are.
We are.
I'm saying goodbye, and it's really bugging me to a lot of people that really, really was attached to as far as music was concerned.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of history there, and again, you develop these, relationships, and they last.
Yeah.
And you get to know these people, and it's again, it's sometimes it can be very devastating. You played with them, even if you play with them for years, and then all of a sudden, you lose contact. But
yeah,
that that.
But you know where they are, and you know how to get a hold of them.
Yep, exactly. So on your gigging rig now, what are you using? Are you using the P bass?
I'm still using the P bass, but I'm using a Music Man.
Okay.
I love my P bass. I love it. It's my baby. But excuse me. The gigs we're doing with Skyway, because we're doing all of these older top 40 tunes and stuff, and you know how singers have to sing in certain keys and stuff. Yeah. So I've been playing a 5-string Music Man for a while.
Okay.
But I actually, now that I'm retired, one of my presents to myself is going to be a new bass. So I haven't really decided on what I want yet, but 3 sets, that Music Man starts to get heavy around.
Yes. Is it an ash body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It starts to get heavy. With the 5-string. I mean, that's just the way they were made.
Yeah. So, I play on a Les Paul, and boy, I tell you that.
Yeah, those things are like
a 4-hour gig. I can't do a 4-hour gig anymore at a Les Paul.
Yeah,
it's your shoulder's killing you.
Yeah, it is. And I'm like, what's up with this?
Yeah. So what are you using for an amp now?
I'm still using an Ampeg. I've been using Ampegs ever since they came out with the SVT.
Hey.
I was playing in a horn band Okay, and I had a little Sun Sonaro, which was a 115,
Yeah.
Maybe 80 watts,
Yeah.
and the band was just blowing me away.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went up to, I forgot the name of the music store in East Hartford, the big music store up there.
Oh, I know the one.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, there was LaSalle.
That's
there.
it.
Yeah, LaSalle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went in there one day. I don't even know what I was doing in there. I went in there one day and I saw an SVT. They had it tucked in the corner, because the place was a mess all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They had it tucked in the corner. I'm like, oh, what's that? He goes, oh, that's a bass amp. Really? How much? $750. The head, the cabinet, everything. I said,
really? Okay.
Yeah, give it to me. I still got the cabinet.
Is that right?
Yeah. I took it to the I took it to the gig that night. My friend Neal, he came out to see the band. I said, what do you think? He said, I got in a parking lot. All I heard was bass.
Now, did you have the 100-watt head?
No, I had the big one.
Oh,
I had the big one.
man, you get a hernia carrying that thing.
Yeah, it was the refrigerator cabinet with I loved that amp.
Oh, man.
I loved it, So that was my amp for easily 20 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, and then as I got older and, gigs got scarcer, I went to the 410.
Okay.
I just like the way 10 sound as opposed
Yeah.
to 15s or 18s.
Yeah.
That's for me. That's my preference.
Well, it's the same thing with me. I mean, I for years I had a twin, a Fender twin, and then I got a Super, and then I just like the Super with the 410 configurations. Plus, it was a lot lighter.
Yeah, it is. Believe it or not. Yeah, it is. And it just, I just, I know they build lighter amps, smaller amps, but they don't sound the same.
Well, everything now is solid state, and I don't care what you hear. You can't beat a tube amp.
No.
The warmth, especially, I've had my amp retubed, I don't know, 3 times and so forth, but the tubes get tired, but you retube them, man. They just they come right back to life.
And they sound so. I mean, they just have such a warm, natural sound to me.
I agree totally.
So if my back has to go out a little bit to carry my amp, so be it.
There you go.
But
there you go. Fantastic. So, now you said you played with the Landerman group in Hartford.
I played for the Landerman agency.
Okay.
Yeah, because Landerman was one of the big agents back in the 70s.
Yeah,
And
I taught at the conservatory in Hartford, and I did work for Landerman. I did work for Jarvis, and I did work for Archie D'Amato.
I worked for Archie D'Amato.
I
worked for Archie D'Amato. Archie D'Amato kept us on the road so long.
Yeah. Well, Archie, I played one of his rooms was, remember, the old Lord Cromwell over there.
Yeah.
And so forth. So that was one of his rooms. In fact, I was playing in the lounge. Okay, the night the Lord Cromwell burned.
Really?
Yeah, and that was a Chinese fire drill, literally.
That was a weird room, man, because it wasn't around and it just had this weird sound to it.
Yep, you were kind of tucked back in the corner there.
It sort of sounded like, what was that Wesleyan had?
The McConaughey Hall.
McConaughey Hall.
Yeah, that's like playing a bass drum.
Oh, yeah. Saw some killer concerts in there, though, man.
Oh, yeah.
Some killer concerts.
I can remember playing weddings in McConaughey Hall and got stuck in the. Used to have to load through the loading dock on. Not College Street, but
where you had to go next to the conservatory and not the conservatory, the observatory.
Yeah, but you loaded through the thing and then you had to go up the elevator. We got stuck in the elevator.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a bummer. Trying to get the maintenance. Half the equipment's in the elevator. It's just like, oh man. And the band used to set up under the stairway coming down. A lot of times,
Yeah, people don't know what musicians go through just to play.
Oh my God,
they really don't.
No, you get to a point where especially clubs. You get to a point they have no concept. Okay, where's the band set up? Over there, and there's like a postage stamp that you're supposed to fit 6 people in. I said, really?
Yeah, like this extension cord with one plug in it.
Yeah. Okay, here's power right here. Yeah. Okay. Right. Get to a point. Yeah, I know.
I mean, we're doing coal-fired pizza now. And to go in, we have to go up 2 flights of stairs.
That's the old camps building, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But we have to load in from the back up 2 flights of stairs.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, seriously severe flight of stairs. So you got to load the PAs, the drums, the amps, all of that stuff up 2 flights of stairs.
Oh man.
You know, so
Can't go in the front door.
No.
No. That'd be too easy.
So they don't think about musicians.
Yeah. Well, we used to. I used to play when it was in Hartford. I filled in quite a bit with Connie Jackson and Men of the Sun.
I remember them.
Okay, we used to play 2 rooms. Okay, they did the Cloud 9 Lounge at Bradley Field, and then we used
I played that room.
Yeah, and then we used to play the Sinesta, and then we used to play 6 weeks in one place and 6 weeks in the other place.
Yeah, I remember the Cloud 9. I was playing for Michael Ruscio, and his uncle was like serious mafioso, man. I've never been so scared of anybody in my life. I mean, it was like talking to Joe Pesci, It's like,
Nice.
but yeah, I remember the Cloud 9.
Yeah, there's some of the rooms, and all the wedding venues. I mean, you used to play. We used to, play the cabin restaurant over in Meriden.
I remember that.
Janet and We Three used to be the house band and so forth with George Ventrelli on sound. I don't know if you ever played with.
Did you ever cross paths with Slim Cox and the Cowboy?
Oh
Caravan?
yes, oh yes. Well, Slim was he was a product of Rivers Music. He played with Dick for quite a while.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I never really ran into Rivers that much.
Yeah, Dick. That used to be in the North End.
Yeah.
When he first opened Rivers Music, it was down on Rapello Avenue, and that used to be a quilt shop at that little hole in the wall.
Oh, okay.
And then he moved up on Main Street. But,
Okay.
Dick ran the Middletown store, and then Rainey ran the New Britain store, and the other brother ran the Bristol store.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there were 3 stores.
Yeah, he had 3 stores, and so forth. But and so forth. But Dick and Slim used to work for Dick over in the Middletown store.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and he played. He was
a character.
He was a wild one. He was a wild one. Oh my God, it's just like unbelievable.
Well, you had people like him. You had Tony and the Rivieras.
Yep.
Remember him?
Yep.
Worst bass player I ever saw in my life. He was a terrible bass player.
Yeah, but he was working.
Yeah.
Well,
he had the voice.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You got the, you got the stage present. You got the, the schmooze, and you're out there and you're keeping people happy, and that's the bottom line.
Saw them, they had on these red velvet tuxedos with the fluff and the
velour with the
yeah.
And
I'm like,
the ruffled shirts.
oh yeah.
When we played Banner Lodge, that's what we played. Well, back in the 70s, it was that time we had the thing was the leisure suits. You used to play the leisure suits. Then we had the Nehru jackets.
Yep.
That was the Beatles
and
thing.
The platform shoes.
Oh God, yeah, exactly. Crazy stuff, man. Well, whatever.
But it was fun, man.
It was
fun.
Like I said, the music scene, the live music scene right now, it's
non-existent.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You get to a point, and and the problem is that you go into a club now, nobody's paying anything,
right?
As far as that goes, and it's if you I know, the bands that play out at the Winchester. I don't know whether you bring 3-piece or 10-piece, it's the same money.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Which is what this money was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But
believe it or not, we made more money back in the 80s than we did now.
Well, the dollar was worth more.
Yeah, that too. Wow, crazy. But anyway. But fine. So what's on the horizon for you now? Now that you're semi-retired.
Well, I'm doing a little project with Ed.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. The Edmoncenti Band.
Yeah. I'm having actually a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
I really, I was kind of hesitant about it, but I come to the realization I'm not going to make a ton of money doing this.
Yeah.
Not anymore. But it's nice to be creative. I like the creative process.
Yeah.
Like actually playing songs that nobody else, that he wrote because I can't play it wrong.
Well, exactly. It's called the creative prowess. You get the point. Now I understand that. You just did a studio thing, right?
Yeah, we started working on his album.
Okay.
maybe 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going in, to work on a few more tunes and then, go in and then probably mix it and redo the tracks and stuff and fix it. But that's a lot of fun.
Now you're doing that over Mike's place, right?
We're doing it at Mike's place, over
Coffee
at
house.
the coffee house.
Yeah,
He's been recording me for years. He's recorded at least 4 or 5 of the bands I've had in there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I go in there and see my business card from like 20 years ago.
Well, Mike was on the podcast. He was on, the first, I don't know. He was probably.
Well, he's a legend in Middletown.
Well, yeah, and he's been there a long time.
Oh yeah,
he's been there a long time, and he knows his stuff. He really does.
Yeah, I've watched him evolve, man. He's
going from the
he's still got reels in there, man.
Well, yeah, remember the old 2-inch reels?
Oh yeah,
it's like okay. In fact, I still got a couple 2-inch reels hanging around here, bands that I've been in. Whatever.
And the 30th Skyway will be at the casino in Springfield.
Oh, okay.
So first time
MGM.
Yeah.
Okay.
First time in there.
So that's nice. So how many pieces Skyway?
Skyway is 6 pieces. 6 pieces? Yeah, 6 pieces. Two singers, guitar, bass, drums, and keys.
Keys, okay.
And it's all the top 40 stuff from the 70s and 80s. The stuff we played when we were actually making money.
Yeah, well, that
but people still like that stuff.
Well, yeah. I know a friend of mine that the 70s project, John Pell, the drummer.
Yeah.
I mean that's all they do is the 70s music.
Well, it's good stuff.
It is. It is. It has. They had good lyrics. They had, the grooves, and people enjoy it. I mean, it's danceable.
Yeah.
Okay. People get out and dance to it, sing to it, and that's what it's all about.
Well, actually, instruments are played on the records too. I mean, it's just now everything is either pre-recorded or,
Yep.
They're trying to do a couple tunes. We just got a new singer, and she's trying to do all of these tunes, from now, this era. And I'm like, I can't play those bass lines because that's not bass. It's keyboards.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in the songs that she's learning, okay, one of them is 3 notes. Another one is 5 notes.
Okay.
But it just loops.
Yeah.
So we rehearse in Enfield. I live in West Hartford. So I drove all the way up to here to Enfield to learn a song with 3 notes in it.
But you got to play the right 3 notes.
That's true.
The right 3 notes.
That's correct.
Whatever. Now, have you gotten into writing any music at all, Neal?
I'm going to get back into writing now that, I did an album a long time ago, and I thought it was pretty good. And apparently, I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I was better than I was because I listened to it now, and I was like, what were you thinking? Oh. So now I have access to time and musicians.
There you go.
So, and I do it on GarageBand.
Okay.
All
right.
And put my ideas together.
Well, and that's the thing now is, things have evolved since we grew up and started playing in the 70s. You had to go into a studio to record. Now you can record on your home computer.
Well, yeah.
And a lot of people, they think, okay, we got to get signed by a record company. No, not really.
Not really, not anymore.
It's not. It's a whole new landscape.
Oh yeah.
The technology is there, and I tell you, with the software and the stuff that the plugins are, I tell you, everything has evolved. It really has.
It is. Well, it's like watching these kids on YouTube. I watch some of these bass players now. I'm like, the kid's like 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I've been playing 50 years. I can't do that.
Yeah. I'm likewise on guitar. Some of you get these monsters that are playing like, holy Christ, and you're 10 years old.
Well, you don't understand how we learned how to do what we do back then, because the technology that they have now
has been refined.
It shows them how to do it.
Well, yeah.
You could slow it down and not change keys, and
yeah, slow downers. There's all kinds of software out there now that you can do that stuff. I mean,
yeah.
How many times have we sat practicing with the turntable and
yeah.
lifting it up and okay, we want to play that part again. Okay,
yeah.
Move the needle back and play
the needle
it again.
broke. You couldn't practice for until you got another needle.
Oh man!
Thank God for Radio Shack.
Yeah, exactly. And Radio Shack is no longer. My God, it's unbelievable. So, getting to records. What what's your taste in vinyl?
Oh,
One of John's questions, okay, on his podcast, okay, is, and we're going to ask, okay, is a desert island album. If you got stuck on a desert island and you can only listen to one album or two, what would your taste be?
Urban Renewal, Tower Power.
Hey, there you go. Nice.
I mean, it covers all of the genres that I like.
Yeah.
It's sort of like James Brownie. It's sort of like, if you listen to certain parts of it, Tower Power had a big influence on me.
Oh, yeah.
Them and the Allman Brothers.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get, Back to Oakland. You've got,
Oh, yeah.
Squib Cakes. All of the tunes.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Because I remember, I used to work at Record Village in Middletown.
Okay.
So when the new records would come in, I get
every
them.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I get them first because I work there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I would call up some kids from school and was like, the new such and such album's in, and they would all meet me at my house.
Yeah.
And we sit in my room and listen to the new album. And my father would be going, "What the hell are all these kids doing in the house?"
Checking out the new vinyl, man.
Yeah. We're listening to records. We're not doing anything.
Now, who is running? Was that? There was Record Express, wasn't it, in Middletown?
Record Village was over where the old ShopRite was. It was over in that mall, over near the bowling alley, Washington. It was over there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The Chinese restaurant went in after we did.
Okay.
After we left. So it was over there. There was a guy named Mark. I can't remember his last name.
Okay.
But he hired me over there because I was working at Bonanza.
Nice. Across the street.
Yeah. Making $1.85 an hour.
Hey,
He offered me $2, so I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, see ya.
I don't have to get wet. I don't have to get dirty, and I don't have to walk home from work.
And plus, I get discounts on records.
And plus, I get all the records I can get my hands on.
There you go. So, all right. So, any other music as far as?
Kind of Blue, Miles Davis.
Okay.
Nina Simone, live at Newport.
Okay.
What else? Anything by Ray Charles.
There you go.
Anything by B.B. King.
Yeah.
Wes Montgomery. Lionel Hampton.
There you go.
Who else I listen to? Betty Goodman.
There you go.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
Dakota Stratton, Big Maybell.
Oh my gosh. There you go.
Louis Jordan.
There's a flash in the past.
Oh yeah, I listen to everything, man. Homer and Jethro.
Nice.
Who else? New Christy Minstrels.
There you go. All right.
I was a big New Christy Minstrels fan.
Wow.
Don't tell anybody.
Who would have thunk?
Oh yeah, I love the New Christy Minstrels.
Nice.
Who else? Yeah, I would listen to all of that stuff.
So are you? I know you've been playing for eons and eons and so forth. Are you a consistent practicer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And so what are you working on now?
I'm not real good at slapping and popping.
Okay.
Never really been good at it. So
really?
Yeah.
Could have fooled me.
Well, yeah, I fool a lot of people. So I'm working on that. There's a couple things that I'm working on. But my routine is I get up at 5 in the morning every day, and I practice from 5:30 to 7:30 when I was working. But now that I'm not working, I can practice from 5:30 to 9:30.
There you go.
So maybe now I'll get something accomplished.
Well, my God, unbelievable. So, but that's good. I mean, I'm not. I used to be a consistent practicer now, but it's pretty much just playing what I'm teaching and go from there. But it's aggravating because the chops that I used to have, I don't have anymore. It's that.
Because if I think, COVID kind of made me lazy.
Yeah, I think it made everybody lazy.
Because I was practicing and everything was shut down, and then after about a month, I was like, why am I doing this?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it was it took its toll on everybody. I mean, we shut the store down here March 20th.
Yeah.
And 20, we didn't open back up. I mean, the store was closed, okay, until like June, I don't know, 15th or 20th next year. So, I mean, it was, it's a good thing I own the building because otherwise it would have been a for sale sign.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. But
You've been here like forever, man.
yeah, my wife and I bought this back in 1983. We've been here for just south of 40 years.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that, my wife and I met at the Harvard Conservatory.
Okay.
She was a dancer, jazz, ballet, and tap, and I was a guitar teacher.
That's what my sister does.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a professor at Fayetteville University.
Wow. Okay.
So neither one of my father's kids, wanted to work in traditional jobs. We both wanted to be entertainers.
Well, hey, it's something to be said for the arts. I mean, the world would be a boring place without the arts.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. So, all right. So, getting back to one of John's other questions. Okay, if you could only eat one thing every day for what would it be?
Oh. That's a tough one. Fruit.
Fruit?
Yeah, it would have to be some kind of fruit.
Okay. All right.
As I get older, I'm trying to get away from sugars and stuff like that, but I still have a sweet tooth.
Yeah, yeah.
So I always had a soft spot for fruits. I've been eating a lot more fruit lately.
Okay.
And beef.
And beef, okay. Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
There you go.
I'm not complicated.
Well, there's a lot to be said for not being complicated.
Yeah.
So to go from there. So okay. So you're playing at the casino up in Springfield. Any other gigs coming up? Well, I know you guys are going to be going into the studio with the Edmoncenti Band.
Yeah, I think we're going to be at Coal Fire next month.
Oh, okay.
I think the 21st.
Okay.
And past that, I don't know. It's basically he sends me the gigs. I look at them and say, okay, put them on my phone. If my phone don't ring, I don't show up. But
yeah.
With the new singer and a few new ideas, we're working on some stuff.
Yeah,
It seems like everything is always in metamorphosis.
Right.
So for me, I think 40 years with Skyway. I think this is the last singer I'm going to work with.
Well,
after this, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's like breaking in a new pair of shoes.
I can't see a 70-year-old guy playing Bruno Mars tunes.
Well, it's killer. Again, that's the thing I like about Bruno is he has a lot of horns in the group, and he does some good stuff.
Well, he's the only one right now that I really like.
Yeah.
Of all the new acts that are coming out, he's the one that I can connect to because he's sort of old school.
Yeah.
And being old school, we like instruments.
Well, yeah, you got a full horn section behind you. Plus, he's a true showman.
Yeah.
He's you look at any of his stage shows, they're choreographed, they're funky, they're
Yeah, but it's the band that's dancing, not
no
9,000 dancers
in the background.
In the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's that got to do with the band?
yeah, exactly. You get to a point where, but it's a show. He's entertaining. Yeah, there you go from there. So, as far as Ed's group is, have you been doing any contributing as far as the songs go?
I have not, but I will be.
Okay.
I have not. I'm kind of working with Ed to see where he's going. He wrote the original tunes, so we're trying to perfect those.
Yeah.
But and then see what direction he wants to take it in.
Yeah.
Because it is his group.
Yeah. No, he's really enjoying it. As far as I know, playing with you and Dan and Brian.
Well, he's a good guitar player, and I guess the whole thing about it is he's never been able to play with people that are on his level.
Yeah.
He's always had to play with people that are below his. And I'm not saying that as they're below him,
right,
talent wise,
right,
knowledge wise,
right.
He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
very knowledgeable. He knows his stuff.
He does. He was. Oh God, I think he was John's second or third podcast.
Okay.
And so forth, and he has a lot of experience. He's been out in Hollywood, been out on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Come back, and he's been here teaching for me.
Forever.
20. I think he said 26 years,
Yeah.
7 years. So he's been a long time. So he's getting to the point. I got to start slowing down. He says.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Ed. Yeah. But So anyway. Anyway, hey Neal, that was great. Thanks so much.
I really enjoyed this, man. I was like a nervous wreck coming in here. I was like, okay, how am I going to handle this?
It's a conversation, man, and it's amazing. The music scene in Connecticut is very rich.
It is.
There's a lot of happening things that between Hartford, between New Haven, and it's amazing that the people that John's played with, and so forth, that the dots somehow always connect.
Yeah.
And it's putting that history. And the nice thing it's about is this is kind of I don't know. I term it as an oral history of the music scene in Connecticut.
Yeah. A lot of us are under the radar that have been out there for a long time.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good players out there.
Yeah.
And, as far as that goes, and there's a lot of good music out there to be had.
Oh, yeah.
As far as that goes. But, great. Well, anyway, so on behalf of all of us here at Connecticut Valley, thanks for coming over, Neal. And that's wraps it up here for the John Peckman podcast. And I'm your host, Dave Kuzminski, filling in for John tonight. John is a little bit under the weather. He is home quarantining, so I had the pleasure of introducing and interviewing our bass player here at Connecticut Valley, Mr. Neal Hatcher. So stay tuned and stay safe, and we'll see you next week. If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at ConnValley.net